Hello there, sports gamers. Welcome on back into the channel. I'm Brandon Satterwhite. We just had the first feature premiere live stream for MLB The Show 23. And to be quite honest, it's probably the best one that San Diego Studios has ever put on. They went so in depth of talking about this new storylines mode and what went in bringing it to MLB The Show 23. They also had special guest in Bob Kendrick, who is the president of the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum, and he also talked about how much he appreciated the team being authentic and respecting the history of the players that are going to be put into the game. It was great. We also got our first look at gameplay for MLB The Show 23. There's a lot to talk about here. Let's get into it.
Sports Gamers Online is the #1 source for the sports gamer.
So there's Jazz hitting the homer. And then I believe this is supposed to be Jeremy Pena, shortstop for the Astros. Just won World Series MVP. He flipping the ball second. Luis Rengifo, Luis Robert, a nice fly over there. And then Jazz during his Euro step here. So that was the start of this feature premiere live stream. And then, of course, they talked with Mr. Bob Kendrick, the president from the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum. And he talked a little bit about each of the 8 players that are going to be coming to this new storylines mode. And I just highly recommend you go and listen to this entire live stream. It's on Sony San Diego's YouTube channel, and Mr. Kendrick is just so great. He talks with so much joy and passion about these players and the history that's going to be brought to this mode. So I really recommend you go watch this. It was incredible. It was so much fun to listen to. I could listen to this man talk baseball all day. But it really was great. And so they talked a lot with Ramon Russell as well as Jared Schiff here from San Diego Studios about what went into making this mode for MLB The Show 23. And they talked about how difficult it was for them at times to find certain things in order to be historically accurate. For example, like when they were making the uniforms, a lot of times they would only have pictures from like the waist up, so they had to use an old bobblehead toy that they found to reference what the pants of the uniform were supposed to look like. They also talked about some of the new stadiums that are going to be coming in this mode and how they had to make a few changes to some of them in order to make them work in MLB The Show. For example, they said that some of these stadiums back in the 20s, 30s, 40s and such didn't have foul poles, and, in order for them to have them in MLB The Show, they need to have foul poles, so if something's, fair or foul, if it's a home run or not. And so they did have to put foul poles in, but they said it wouldn't be, like a modern giant yellow one. They would be wooden and try to match it so it would look, I guess, normal in the world that they're creating here as they're trying to make this as authentic as possible. They also talked about how they had to make the equipment different because the jerseys and such that the players wore back then, they had the higher collar, they had longer sleeves, their cleats were a lot different than what modern players wear. They also went and changed the look of the spectators in the crowd, which I thought was a great touch. Just showing the amount of detail that they were willing to put in to a mode like this really shows how passionate they were about it and how much they care about making sure that it is historically accurate. And then Ramon Russell here for the development team talked about just how important this mode was for everyone that worked on it, how much it meant to a lot of them. And you can see him getting, visibly emotional here, talking about it and how much it means to them and how important it was to them. And they talked about how they didn't think they would be able to make this, within their 8-month development cycle, but they were able to create this thing and push themselves to their limits here. And he goes on and lists a whole bunch of people that worked on this mode and just thanking them for all of their hard work. And again, I recommend you go and watch this entire feature premiere live stream. It really was incredible. And you can just tell how passionate this entire team is about it. I haven't seen the sort of passion and emotion from them in any of their other live streams. At least not like this. So you can tell just how much this really does mean to the entire team. And then at the end here, we got a snippet of what this mode is going to look like. So we got to see a bit of what the little videos at the beginning of each of the episodes are going to look like. This is the one for Jackie Robinson, again narrated by Mr. Bob Kendrick, the president of the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum. He's talking about Jackie Robinson and sort of his career and such. And then we got to see some gameplay captured on next-gen hardware here for Jackie Robinson's episode. And here he's, in his Kansas City Monarchs uniform. You can see the crowd and everything just looks really, really good. I think that this is very impressive gameplay here. It's not, anything we've never seen before. Like this here, this looks like MLB The Show. But it definitely looks better than what we've seen in recent years. And of course, you've got some new UI down there in the bottom left for the feedback. You've got Robinson's stats there. I really like the way that that looks. And then up there in the top right, the UI looks a little bit different for the base running. The feedback there in the bottom left, after you swing on a pitch, it looks a little bit different. I think it looks really good. I like how this gameplay looks here. And then also, you can't really tell a whole lot about the gameplay itself until you have it in your hands and you're getting to play with it and see how hitting actually feels. There's not much you can tell about how hitting's going to feel from just watching one at-bat. You've got to really get in there and play a lot of games and get a lot of at-bats in before you really start to feel whether or not the hitting's going to be improved over last year, which is something a lot of people really want to see. So we'll figure that out later, but I did think that this gameplay looked really good as Robinson able to get that one to fall right in front of the center fielder there and get this double here. So that's going to be it for this video, guys. A bit of a shorter one. Again, I do really recommend you go and watch this entire feature premiere. It's just under an hour long, but it is really worth it just to hear Mr. Kendrick talk about these 8 players and just give a little brief description about their careers, what they were known for, what they were able to do, how big of stars they were back in their day. And to also hear from Ramon about how much this new mode meant to the entire team and how passionate they are and how excited they are for it to be in the game. That's going to be it for this video, guys. If you enjoyed it, make sure to leave it a like. Also, subscribe so you don't miss out on any of our videos. For all MLB The Show news and updates, stay tuned to Sports Gamers Online. I'm Brandon Satterwhite with SGO. Thank you for watching.